that is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode number 89 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together to celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. But unfortunately, there's only three of us. I'm here, Adam. John's here.
Hello.
Brett's here.
Hello.
But there's no Sam.
Yeah, everyone thought it was going to be me missing. Didn't they?
Yeah, you're right, actually. I expect most people probably did think that. Are they celebrating or are they devastated? We'll never know. I'm sure there's probably just somewhere in the middle. Yeah, Sam isn't here. Unfortunately, he's had to work. He's been kept in work late because he's been a naughty boy who hasn't been concentrating. He's been too busy watching wrestling at his desk.
He does seem to do a lot of that, doesn't he, at work? Seems like he does most of his wrestling watching at work.
Yeah. And which it was a theme of when we worked together as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, when we worked together, I don't think we were watching much wrestling at work.
Well, no, that's true. We weren't watching wrestling, but Sam wasn't doing much work at all.
Oh, yeah, true.
He was one of those annoying guys that was like really talented, like naturally talented at animating and stuff like that. And he wouldn't have to work, or he wouldn't do any work, but then when the time came he had to do it, he'd just bash it out and it would look really good.
Yeah, he'd always give really big estimates, like, oh, that's going to be 3 weeks. And then start it, get it done in like 2 days.
Yeah, classic. Okay, well, yeah, I'm very pleased to say that Sam did send via WhatsApp a load of thoughts on, I was about to say Fight for the Fallen. That is old. Full Gear is what we're going to talk about today. So I will read those out sporadically. Before we get into things, very quickly, Brett, how's life being married to a professional wrestler?
Oh, yeah, has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Downs being, taking like random chops and stuff like that just at home unexpectedly.
Just practicing. She has to keep loose, she has to practice. How's she feeling though? Has she been on a massive high since her debut match?
Yes, she was on a massive high from doing it, and then I think she definitely had the post the post hype lull,
the slump
where it's like it's done,
yeah,
that happened and stuff. So yeah, she's keen to do more, I think.
Was she really achy and sore afterwards?
No.
Badass.
The bonus of like that is we usually do like 2 hour, it was like 2 hour private sessions like once a week, and then sometimes like a 2 hour group session. And so when you're taking bumps for 2 hours, like 10 minutes doesn't really feel all that much.
Yeah, I bet. For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, just go back and listen to last week's episode.
Out of context, that could sound really weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
totally.
Lucy is a wrestler now. Sam's wife, Lucy, is a wrestler now.
Brett's wife.
Oh my God, controversy. Definitely Brett's wife. Sorry, do you know why I said Sam? It's because he just messaged our WhatsApp group. Is it to say that he's available? No, it isn't. Just got the listeners' hopes up once more. Sorry, Sam is not coming. Anyway, last week, the podcast where we talked about Lucy's wrestling debut was our top 5 wrestlers to form a girl band, which was, I listened back to that actually, and it was pretty good fun.
I enjoyed it.
What do you make of the band, Brett?
A bit random.
Yeah.
Well,
especially your pick, John, Luna.
I think Luna Vachon was a great pick.
I was getting a bit angry, like there was no Mickey James in it. Especially with you on the pod, John. I was like, where's Mickey James? Oh, there she's in at the end.
I wanted to pick her so much. It took all my willpower not to.
She snuck in though, didn't she? Or did she make the final 5?
She did.
Yeah, there was no doubt. Never any doubt. This week, this podcast, we are very thankful to have a pay-per-view to review after a few barren weeks. And we're going to be talking about AEW Full Gear 2019. And we're just going to get straight into it after this.
Look at this impact here.
AEW Full Gear 2019. Quick thoughts on the pay-per-view name and the whole cog vibe?
That's fine. Pay-per-view names are always pretty shit though, aren't they?
Yeah, well, good. I quite like Full Gear, but the little cogs just at the side of the stage that they put on was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah,
bit too on the nose.
Yeah,
I think I agree. The venue for this was the Royal Farms Arena. Sorry, who did write that?
I mean, it does sound like a battery farm, don't you think? Royal Farms. It sounds like one of those things they sort of say something is just to make it sound organic and free range, but really it's just a load of animals in a small cage.
So the first thing you thought was that it sounded like a battery farm.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. The attendance was 8,500 closely packed hens. No people.
It's even more than that, though, doesn't it? I can't really judge wrestling arenas.
No, me either.
No, we've tried to before on the podcast and been horribly
I think
wrong.
it's because we've had kayfabe attendances all our lives watching WWE. So who knows?
Yeah, because
what numbers
said that
mean?
was like 15 to 20.
15 to 20 people.
1,000. Sorry, 1,000.
Okay. You were way off there, John.
Very loud.
The comms team for this, we just had two people. A lot of people prefer just having a two-man comms booth, but we had Jim Ross and Excalibur.
A very, very salty Jim Ross on this podcast.
Oh my God.
Pay-per-view.
Salty, and like, he was bumbling his words all over the place, wasn't he? I thought he was terrible,
he
actually.
Definitely got up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah. I don't think he likes modern wrestling.
No, I don't think he does either. In fact, during this, he kept making reference to like other sports. Like, he kept saying that when they were getting for the rope breaks, like they were out of bounds. Like, I've never heard that phrase used in a wrestling context before. It's weird.
No.
It is all very weird.
Didn't he try to say Tope Suicida at one point as well?
Oh my God, yes.
He got so annoyed at that, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Tope what? Tope?
He
It
said,
was so
I
funny.
think he said Tope El Suicido.
Yeah.
That was it. Tope El Suicido. It's so bad. Oh, JR. The thing
Excalibur
is-
handles him well, though, I think.
Yeah, he does.
In that
But then,
part.
I don't know. I think he felt a bit flustered at times.
there were a couple of bits. I think just before the main event, there was a bit to camera where Excalibur got all flustered. I think it's rubbing off on him. But then, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Excalibur was a little bit distracted. Did you see the news?
No?
Excalibur and Jimmy Havoc had a bit of a fight.
Oh, did they?
No way.
IRL in real life. They were all out for drinks or something. It may well have been. I've seen a picture. Obviously, it was Chris Jericho's 49th birthday. No, that's something different. I'm not going to say that because actually I think that's wrong in the timeline. But basically, people were out for drinks. Excalibur and Jimmy Havoc got in a bit of a fight because Jimmy Havoc was basically smashed and said something inappropriate. Tried to swing a punch at Excalibur, according to reports, missed, and Excalibur basically got him in a chokehold. And then Jimmy Havoc had to go home.
That sounds so Jimmy Havoc, doesn't it?
It does.
Sounds about right, doesn't it? But yeah, so I mean, Excalibur at least managed to turn up to the event, unlike Tony Schiavone. What was he doing? Off commentating on local sports or something?
Tony what? Tony Schiavone?
Schiavone is what I've gone for. I can't do names. We know this. Anyway,
I don't like Tony Schiavone, but I really missed him on this pay-per-view. I feel like he's the glue that holds these two together.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he's
like,
great.
When he does the have you watched any of The Dark when he introduces that? It's so old school. It's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen any of that.
Like, he stands, I think just in front of a blue screen, does a bit of like, introduction presenting, and it is so like, Coliseum video wrestling style.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, I don't want to watch that. I don't want to add that to my list of stuff to watch.
I keep seeing it, like reviews of it, and it seems pretty good. But I'm like,
It's too much.
it's another hour.
Yeah.
I'm still fit in somewhere.
I've still got last week's NXT to watch.
I'm 2 behind on next. I might be 3 behind.
Yeah, I
honestly.
think I'm like John. I think I'm more.
Oh, God. Anyway, we're keeping up to date for you listeners. We know what's going on in every single promotion.
Finger on the pulse.
Yes. Anyway, AEW Full Gear. That's the venue, the attendance, and the comms team. There was a pre-show. Only had one match. The buy-in. Brett, Mr. Pre-show, Mr. Buy-in. Did you watch it?
I did.
Who was
I
it,
did.
and was it good?
It was Britt Baker versus B. Priestley, and yeah, it was good.
Nice.
It was decent. Britt Baker came away with the win with the old mandible claw thing. I'm not sure what she calls it.
It's probably something dental, right?
Yeah, it's linked to that. Oh,
and they keep pushing the fact that, you know, she knows all the nerves and the tendons or whatever in the mouth, so, you know, in the jaw, so she knows exactly what to.
Yeah,
it's quite funny, but it works.
Anybody shoves their whole hand in my mouth, that'll do the job, I think.
Yeah.
Don't need to go for a specific area.
Not the first time you said that, is it, Adam?
A comment that I might throw in later, though, like this pre-show match, it was like, it was great that they get time to have a match.
Yeah.
There's none of this WWE short, you know, whatever, or this, like, you know, throughout this, they have time to like put on the match that they want to put on.
That's interesting, because that may well be one of my slight criticisms of this whole event, but we can get
More
to
squashes.
that. We can get to that.
Where's the big man squashing people? That's what I want.
I want Braun Strowman beating someone in 10 seconds, damn it.
I want more variety, but we'll do that later. We'll talk about that later. The main card, Brett, do you want to run through that as Sam's not here?
Yep. So to kick it off, we had the Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful. Dodgy name.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
Hangman Adam Page versus Pac, or should I say the Bastard Pac. Sean Spears, the chairman, with Tully Blanchard versus Bad Boy Joey Janela.
Go for all the nicknames. I like it.
Yeah, they're not even in the running order as well. He's doing it off the top of his head.
He just knows this stuff. He just knows wrestling.
I don't know them all now. So SCU versus Lucha Brothers versus Private Party for the AEW Tag Team Championship. Then we had Riho versus Emi Sakura for the AEW Women's Championship. Then we had Chris Jericho with Jake Hager versus Cody with MJF for the AEW World Championship. And finally, we had the unsanctioned lights out match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
Nice one. So we are going to talk about key matches first. We've picked out 3 of the matches that we think were sort of the most important. We're going to start off with the AEW Tag Team Championship, which was SCU versus the Lucha Brothers versus Private Party. Obviously, this one, SCU won the belts a couple of weeks ago. Sam spoilt that for me and John on last week's pod. Yeah. Lucha Brothers, number 1 contenders, because they've got nice little medals. And Private Party, obviously, the team that's sort of surprising a lot of people. Very
breakout
green
stars,
still,
aren't they, of the tag tournament?
Yeah, for sure. What do you think of the match, John?
Ray Fenix is very good at wrestling.
God, yes. Have I got him in the draft? I think I've got him in the draft. I'm so happy.
Some of the stuff he does is out of this world.
Yeah.
Like the way he bounces from rope to rope. It's like fucking watching Mario. It's incredible.
It is. Yeah, he's so unique. And the balance, like, how on earth can you tightrope on a wrestling rope like that? It's unbelievable. Yeah. And with a mask on as well.
Yeah.
What a guy.
He did a rope walk intercept knee into Scorpio Sky, which like made me spill my drink. It was phenomenal.
Did it? What drink was it? Tell me it was a scalding hot cup of tea. Oh, that's a shame.
I'm trying to think when I watched this, actually. When did I watch this? That was the Sunday daytime. I think it was just water.
Okay, good. Brett, you enjoy the match?
Yeah, I did enjoy the match. I didn't get into this match as much as I thought I would, but my sentiments are in line with John, and it was just like there were moments of pure Ray Fenix brilliance. And it was just like, oh my days, did he just do that?
I think that was the main thing about the match for me as well. The main takeaway is just Phoenix is amazing. Because I think the first half, there were a couple of bits where it felt a little bit disjointed, a couple of dodgy Hurricane Ranas that didn't quite connect. And I think a lot of that was down to Private Party being... They are quite inexperienced, aren't they? Especially compared to the likes of SCU.
Yeah.
And so it just didn't really connect at the start.
I did think the end was really cool. Obviously, they had sort of the mirror Pentagon turn up and then sort of attack Pentagon, and it turned out to be the
Christopher
Daniels.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch. Be interested to see whether they do go sort of the triples route.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It feels like with SCU, that's kind of already there. The Lucha Brothers could easily get some amazing luchador from somewhere.
Obviously, Jungle Express.
Yeah, and even like the Elite with the Young Bucks and Kenny.
Yeah, that would make sense. Zero Miedo watch. There were 6 during this match.
I felt quite light.
Yeah, it did. There was one worthwhile one though, wasn't there, with Ray Fenix trying to get the ref to do it as a distraction.
Yeah,
I should see that.
Yeah, that was. I thought that was decent usage of it.
I think it's just got to be 1 or 2 times. Maybe it's just because we're so focused on it now, but it's it's really starting to grate for me. But yeah, okay. So SCU won the match and retained the championship. Do you think they're going to keep those belts for a long time, or do you think it's gearing up for maybe someone like Proud and Powerful to come along?
I hope they keep it for a long time. I think, actually, I'm not sure what I'm basing this on. It's just personal, but I think it's good to have long reigns, especially for new belts.
Yeah, I think because it's new and they're the start, you want to solidify that, don't you, for a while, rather than lots of changes early on. Plus, we know they've got amazing tag teams that are gonna. They almost like, I know we say this, but they don't need the belts yet.
No,
No.
I think they should have the belts, like the Lucha Brothers and stuff. Like, yes, they should have the belts at some point, definitely, and probably for a long time. But it doesn't matter that they don't have it now.
Yeah, it does feel like they've got the 3 main belts out quite quickly. They could have done a bit more build. Maybe even sort of have a mid-card title earlier and build.
That's a really good idea.
Oh, shit!
With the running.
Are you serious?
I'm here.
Or has somebody got a
serious.
soundboard?
Haha.
Oh
Yes.
my god! What the
Wow.
fuck? You said you weren't going to get home until about 10 o'clock. Listeners, I must say, it is 8:30 on Tuesday night. Sam said he wasn't going to be home till 10, and here he is.
I'm either an hour and a half early or I drive really fast.
Well, I hope you didn't break any laws.
It was an unsanctioned drive.
Well, was it a lights out drive? Because that's very dangerous.
It was a lights out unsanctioned
Terrifying.
drive.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh
It doesn't go on my record. It's fine.
wow, Sam, this is amazing, and there'll be lots of listeners rejoicing or crying at this moment. But we have just finished talking about the first key match, so you've come at a good time. So we've just finished talking about SCU versus Lucha Brothers versus Private Party for the Tag Team Championship. Any quick thoughts on that?
Oh man, I didn't like that match that much, to be honest. It wasn't doing it for me.
Well,
Yeah.
we seem to be all
We were,
on.
we were just
point.
saying it was all about Ray Fenix. He made the match worthwhile.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every single match he's in, he makes worthwhile. I think kind of just generally, I'm not sure if they've done enough to build up how interesting this match should have been. Perhaps kind of like SCU should have been in a bit of rivalry with someone rather than it just kind of being everyone shoved together. Felt very WWE in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just feels weird. It's almost like I feel like those viral videos you see. I'm like a 8-year-old American girl, and my father has just come home early from a stint in Baghdad, and I'm just in absolute awe. It's just amazing for you to be here. You throw me off,
Right,
and I'm talking absolute shit. Should we go on to the next key match?
Yes.
Do it.
It's going to be the AEW World Championship match, Chris Jericho versus Cody Rhodes. And I bet you're chuffed you got back in time to talk about this one, Sam.
I am over the moon. I did because I thought it was a really good match, but had some problems.
Yeah. But
Ooh, what are the problems?
Well, what I was going to say was actually, Sam, the funny thing about this, before we started recording, I joked with Brett. I was like, it's gutting that Sam can't be here. But on the positive side, Brett, you're probably going to be able to get a lot more words in.
Yeah, now I'm out.
Shush, Brett, I'm talking.
Brett,
No, sorry.
you say what you think first on this match, I reckon. And then let Sam take the floor. What did you think, Sam? No, what do you think, Brett?
You arsehole.
Come on, Brett, you love Cody.
I do love Cody, and I think again this was another match that was good storytelling, but it was just a bit too slow for a long period of the match.
Quite slow at the start, yeah.
And I don't know if that was because of the injury and the heat lasted longer.
Yeah, it did seem to take off once basically once Hager got chucked out. Then the pace really sort of took off and everything got a lot more exciting. It was fairly slow, but I mean that injury. Let's start off with that split open head from Cody going onto the ramp. That was pretty amazing. I was thinking he was going to have to stop the match for a bit.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I thought they probably should have done in hindsight.
Yeah.
8 stitches.
I'm quite concerned that this is becoming a habit of Cody matches, in that he needs to bleed, he needs to be injured for him to feel like he's getting over, and I don't think he needs that. I really don't. And like, I know obviously this time he wasn't blading, but at the same time,
I don't think it was intentional this time.
well,
No, yeah.
I'm not sure, because it seemed to me like it was either incredibly clumsy
Yeah,
or
I know.
Well,
what you mean.
I think-
another way to open his head up.
I mean, to be honest, I think it probably clumsy because, like, you know, he's diving out of the ring, but the platform, because of the ramp and the platform, like, there's no distance there. So suddenly, you know, you're doing
Yeah.
something perhaps you'd normally do, but you have to, you know, readjust for what actual height you have now.
Yeah, even Jericho, when he went out just before that happened, he looked like he misjudged it, like the height of the
That's
ramp.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think maybe perhaps the cynic in me thinks, oh, Cody, he's going to jump over, face plant it on purpose to maybe get a small injury.
Oh, that is so
I mean,
cynical. You think that
I
was
know,
on
it's
purpose?
incredibly
that's
cynical.
incredibly cynical. And also, like, I mean, the skill for Cody Rhodes, if he intended that.
But that's my point, is that I think Cody Rhodes is he's experienced enough and skilled enough to not know to land on your face unless you want to land on your face.
But he did get his hands out first in the replay, because I was
think
like,
I'd
did he
have to
just
see it
land on his
again.
face? But he did get his hands out, but they just didn't.
it certainly
stop
seemed like
enough.
for someone of his level of experience to jump over a top rope onto your face, it seems, I don't know.
I think I'm slightly with you there, Sam, actually.
No
Conspiracy
way.
theory.
That
my
is
days.
the hard way.
I don't know. It's a nasty one, though, isn't it? That's going to be a big scar. You know, that's just
Yeah.
not going to clear up.
No
Yeah.
matter what, like if that didn't have happened, Cody would have bladed during this match.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, is that, like, I think kind of AEW, what it's doing really well is it's evoking a lot of the nostalgia of the old WWE, kind of less PC, less safe WWE. And that's kind of exciting in a lot of ways. But will it be exciting if, you know, like, Cody passes away young or something, which has happened to a lot of 80s and 90s wrestlers?
Yeah,
True.
I don't think it's quite there
I think-
yet, but I do think the amount of blood we're seeing is
Yeah.
is a lot.
I think they had other drug problems to go along with.
Yeah,
Fair,
that's true.
fair,
And
fair
lifestyle
point.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's something that doesn't sit too easy with me on this one, just because it keeps happening in Cody matches.
I think we can agree, though, that there's not really anyone better at the moment when it does come to like storyline driven wrestling.
Yeah.
And like those callbacks, it's so great. He's clearly a real student of the game, and
He's absolutely not a student of the game.
no, that's very true. I picked the wrong words there, but because I think we've all said it in the past, he has been fairly limited when it comes to what he can actually do in the ring. But my God, since AEW's been about, if you were to list like the top 3 matches so far that the promotion has had, there'd be an argument to say that he's featured in all of them, with the match
That's
with
a good shout,
his
actually,
brother, maybe even the Nick Aldis match, and then
Yeah.
this one again.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the match was slow. I thought it was a good match. I just kind of, like I said, the bleeding once again overshadowed the match.
I don't think it did as much as perhaps, you know, Dustin's.
Yeah,
God.
I was actually quite impressed at how little
Fair
blood there
enough.
was. Really,
Yeah.
really.
Me too.
But they did well on that,
I just
actually.
felt like I did feel like it slowed in the middle for longer, and I think that was maybe because of this injury rather than them plotting it out, because it definitely paused things for a bit as well, and I guess they had to build it up again.
Do you know what?
But
I like
great
your
finish,
interpretation.
though. Had a great finish, I thought.
There
Yes.
was 2 killer near falls as well after that crossroads.
Yeah, the Judas
After
effect
he-
into the
yeah.
crossroads.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, the crowd were like nearly went nuts, and then with the bionic elbow as well. I kind of disagree with you guys. I thought this match was outstanding. I loved the pacing of it. I loved the intensity. I loved all of the storytelling, and especially the brutality of the way it ended. With
Yeah.
like Jericho just stomping on his head.
Oh,
It kind of
it
made
looks
it fitted
so
with
bad.
I
MJF
am
throwing in the towel.
So happy to see him win a match with the Lion Tamer. I can't remember the last time he made that happen.
That was a great ending, wasn't it? I'm with you though, John. I really liked it.
I did really like this match. I'm just kind of like, I like it with the caveat of I don't like Cody having to make himself bleed every time.
Yeah. Well, what do we think about Cody's mum? I mean, she's been in the business for a long, long time. When he was bleeding, she just had a straight face.
Yeah, she didn't look worried at all, did she?
Do the facials, for God's sake. You got to look worried. That's your son. He's just... I mean, actually, he has actually just cut his head open, so maybe look a bit worried. And then when she slapped Jericho, she was just like grinning and giggling, wasn't she? When she should have looked more fired up. You know, play your part. Play your
really
part.
slapped
I think she did a better job than the Miz's dad.
Yeah,
Much better.
Definitely. Is that an intergender tag team
People's
coming up?
parents
that'd
in
be good,
wrestling.
wouldn't
That's a top 5.
It's a shame Jake's dad's dead because he'd be great.
Oh my God.
What do we make
That
of
is
the
dark.
MJF heel turn?
AJF heel turn.
Really good. I liked
Tell
it.
you what, whoever chucked that
Yeah.
drink at him at the end, what an arm!
Oh my God, that throw is insane,
I
wasn't
heard
it?
that might have been
Amazing.
a plum.
I had to that as well. At the time, I was shocked though. I was like,
He took it on the chin though, didn't he? Just kind of smiled it off. That smug face.
Yeah, dealt with it really well. But yeah, I mean, this is great for MJF, isn't it? Because the fact that he's just been alongside Cody, everybody knew that he was
Yeah.
going to have the turn, but now we're going to get to see him excel. Like this Wednesday night, if he comes out and does a promo, it's going to be.
I
worth
like the
seeing.
fact that he's not aligned himself with Jericho. I like the fact that he's such a dick.
Yes.
He's just like, solo artist
Yeah.
dickhead.
Yeah, you can't just have two factions, can you? Really, it's good.
No, and he can't go for that main belt or anything if he's part of Jericho's crew.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But I think he has the ability to be a top heel in not just in AEW, in all of wrestling. I haven't seen enough of him actually
Definitely.
wrestling. That's the one thing where I'm like, I want to see more of that. But, his promo work, top notch.
top notch.
yeah, precisely.
Very impressive with how over Cody is as well. Like
Yeah.
the promos leading up to this match were insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's done such an amazing job. I can't believe none of us has picked him in the fucking draft.
No one trusted him, though.
He's a 10 for me.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement. And
Yeah.
and I think that's something AEW in this pay-per-view did really well as well, was like, obviously not just Cody's promos, but like all the video bits building up to matches, they're just really nice. Really,
Yeah, they are
They're
really
really
well
like emoting.
VTs are really good. What wasn't really good was the graphics package of those guys popping up like gears. That looked awful.
Yes. Yeah, we spoke a little bit about the gears and the cogs at the beginning of the pod, saying, bit rubbish. But should we move on?
Yeah.
Next key match is the unsanctioned lights out match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. Sam, go on. You've settled in now. What do you reckon?
This was my favourite match of the night, but I'm a bit sick of unsanctioned matches now.
It does feel like we've got a glut.
Yeah,
of them
they can't do
recently.
anything like this for a long time now. And especially Moxley. Jon Moxley needs to have some wrestling
Absolutely.
matches.
Like the thing is, we all know he can wrestle. He can wrestle as Barnstormer if he wants. But what I like about this is it does bring Moxley back to his roots. Before Dean Ambrose, before WWE, he was a deathmatch wrestler, and I think I know obviously they used a lot of gimmick stuff with the sugar glass and most likely the gimmicked barbed wire, but I thought this match had the makings of just a really good death match. It was nice to see two wrestlers in their prime having a match like this, as opposed to like one who's on the verge of retirement called Terry Funk and another one.
My eye. It was next level, wasn't it, though? In terms of the things they were doing, it wasn't just your usual deathmatch that we've seen so many of. It was they were doing things that I haven't seen and taking things to the next level, such as the baseball bat and the broom with the dragging it across each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looked nasty.
It's actually interesting in that I think it highlights what has happened for Jon Moxley, how far he's come from. I remember when he was feuding with Brock Lesnar as Dean Ambrose a few years ago now, that everyone was like telling Dean Ambrose, bring out your hardcore side, bring out your mental side. And he was having vignettes with Terry Funk and Mick Foley. And they were giving him weapons. And like Mick Foley gave him a barbed wire covered baseball bat. Terry Funk gave him a chainsaw. And it was just like, where are you going to go with this? It just makes no sense whatsoever. And I think Lesnar ended up beating the shit out of him anyway. Whereas this now actually feels like, when they're showing off barbed wire kind of covered weapons, it's not for show. It's a
weapon and they're going to use it.
Which is nice because in the run up to this, with them teasing that, you're just like, well, they're never actually going to hit each other properly.
Yeah.
But they did, and they stomped on them and everything.
And I love the even though, you know, like you say, it's Sugar Glass, when he like dragged him across it, you know, slammed him on it and then pulled him
That was
along.
so good.
That was
the bit with the sharpshooter, so Die Hard. I loved it.
JR didn't do his best though when the glass was in the mouth, and he's like, "Oh, he's knocked the glass right out of his mouth." It's like, come on, JR. I mean, it's not ice either, but at least try and sell it as glass. But what do we think about the table or the big board covered in mouse traps? That was pretty rubbish, right?
Oh, no, I like it.
Yeah, that was fun.
What?
And you heard them snapping
Yeah, man.
all while he was rolling on it. I was like, I was for that. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that should be the thing we do next time we meet up. That should be.
I don't know if that would be that bad. Unless you're getting an actual, like a finger in a mousetrap, then it's just going to be like hitting
Just
you
to
slightly.
confirm, everyone, that's Adam volunteering for the mousetrap board.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not volunteering.
If you set one up with that many, so about 60
Have
mousetraps.
you ever seen a
in the
mousetrap
exact-
go off?
Yeah.
Okay. They looks
Yeah, but
really
that-
painful.
like, okay, if it was like to scale mousetrap, like I'm a mouse and you've got a huge one that's going to get me like a mouse, then I'm not doing it. But if it's a little one that, you know, unless I've got a finger in there or something else remotely like a finger, then
Oh dear me! Wow, that's a weird kink, isn't it?
Always with you, Adam,
judgment.
Always.
a thumb, or a toe, then yeah, I'll take it. Next time we meet up, let's do it.
Okay, need to try and find a bulk deal of mouse traps.
We've got a lot
Yes.
of them in my house. Well, in my parents' house. Not that we have a mice
Okay.
problem.
You've also got cats, though, don't you?
No, the cats are dead. They were replaced with mouse traps.
All right.
Yeah. Interesting thing, I bought some humane mouse traps for my parents because I was like, I don't want to kill off these mice. And when I came back, my dad filled it with rat poison. So, no winning sometimes.
The trouble with the humane ones is if they work, then you've got the issue of what the fuck am I going to do with this mouse or rat?
Quite often you don't even, like, you go to it and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to check this, and the mouse is just starved to death. in your trap. So
That sounds like the voice of experience right there.
yeah, we had a mouse in our loft. We tried all sorts of things, and in the end we just had to call the insurance company and get a pro to come and to deal with it. And Kenny Omega turned up with a
The cleaner.
plank of wood. And he sorted it all out. Anyway, back to this match. A lot happened, right? It was 38 minutes 45
Yeah, there's
seconds.
loads
Long
of
match.
spots.
I mean, they put each other through it. I did like it because there was a lot of sort of different stuff, but
Yeah.
I would definitely have preferred to have seen them have a straight match, maybe even a straight match with a bit of edge. We've seen that Mox can do that, like the Ishii match that he had. He can have these kind of matches with a little bit of edge. He can still have that side to him, but I really hope they have that kind of match at some
I
point.
think this will lead to that because I think
Yeah.
this will, because this was unsanctioned. He storm into Tony's office and be like, "I beat your best man. Now give me a proper match."
Yeah, maybe.
I hope so, because I think kind of AEW is still finding its place in the kind of wider world of wrestling, whether it's kind of completely no weapons allowed, kind of WWE-esque, or whether it's kind of refs are just there for show, New Japan-esque. And I'm hoping it kind of leads towards the latter, where they can have a good match and still occasionally bring out a table or whatnot.
Brett, you're usually not a fan of any kind of death matches and stuff. You're such a purist. Did you enjoy this for what it was?
I did really enjoy this for what it was, actually. And I've probably because, you know, yes, there was blood and there was elements, but none of it was like, you know, as gory as it gets indie scene wise. But also they were really inventive, and it was cool seeing them actually use weapons as they're intended rather than, you know, putting your hand on the end of a sledgehammer and punching someone.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, like I really like that aspect of it. And considering they brought out, like, you know, he had this barbed wire baseball bat quite early, yet they managed to, throughout the whole match, continually like up the stakes.
The ice pick was weird.
Like at all bits, they upped the stakes, which was pretty cool. Yeah, the ice pick was weird. I mean, it was a great shot of it stuck in the turnbuckle.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think
it was.
That was the cool part of that, but like the little scratchy on the forehead wasn't.
I've got to
so
be
cool.
honest, like kind of with the way they had upped the stakes, when Omega was stalking him down the ramp and he was crawling away, I was like, is he Is he going to stab him like
Yeah.
in a
I
non-vital
kind of thought-
place, like a thigh or a hand or
Yeah,
something?
are they actually going to do that?
I sort of pictured him like just dropping it, like not actually stabbing him, but like dropping it from above.
Oh,
like,
that's a good idea.
Like you can do with a knife into a chopping board or something. Just drop it and then it sort of sticks.
We should
in.
write to Kenny Omega and John Moxley and tell them to do that next time. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that could be a
Top
good
spot.
look. And what about the barbed wire trampoline bed?
Bed.
I was going to go with
Bed.
trampoline.
I mean, I've seen some reports or people saying that obviously it's gimmick barbed wire because when they got up, it didn't seem to be like clinging to them or like cutting them up as you would expect.
But when they were trying to get them out, people were sticking to it.
I don't know, but compared to the stuff with the baseball bat and the broom, when you could actually see all the cuts on their back, there didn't seem to be much fresh cuts. I was searching for the fresh cuts.
God, you
couldn't
you
find
just
any.
want blood, don't you? For 1
do.
minute, there's not too much blood, and now there's not enough blood.
I'm okay with this though. Like, kind of, I don't care if they use gimmicked stuff. Like, the whole thing
No.
is it's an illusion.
I think it's a
isn't
good
it?
idea.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just buying it.
It's
spot
fucking
looks
dangerous
great.
otherwise. I mean, as in, like, if you just like rubbed your wrist the wrong way on something like that, it could be extremely bad. So yeah, it's probably for the best if it's slightly gimmicked.
Yeah.
Good. Any other thoughts? Final thoughts on that match? Or are we ready to move on?
Just quickly, I was going to say, I actually thought the pacing of this was really good. Normally with these death matches, or these sort of hardcore matches, they can be really slow and ploddy, like they just go from one insane spot to another. But the pacing on this was really good, and they sort of told a good story throughout. Like they just wanted to kill each other. They don't care about the sort of pin. They just wanted to cause each other harm.
I think the bit where Kenny Omega tried to hang John Moxley was a bit weird.
Oh, God,
that
yeah.
bit was so good. Like the entire crowd was
John's
silent.
into that.
That felt like it was awesome, but it was like, it felt like that was the one moment that was the most risky.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was just like, if they don't like, oh my days.
It's like, I'm okay with the gimmick barbed wire. I'm okay with the gimmick glass. Please don't gimmick hang anyone because that might go a bit wrong.
True. Before we move on, one other shout to very early on in the match. I enjoyed the stuff when they went out to the crowd, the stuff with the beers, and obviously the bin.
Oh, yeah.
When they were doing that stuff with the bin, it was actually full of actual trash, like old chips and stuff like that. They were.
The last thing I want to say, I love when they pull apart the ring. So cool.
Yeah.
What a great
Oh
way
my
to
god,
finish a
that
match.
Phoenix splash onto the boards. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
the nastiest
And
bump I've ever seen.
The finishing paradigm shift for Moxley, like that, he hit that great. Like he was so angled, so high, and just slam onto that. It looked
Excellent
awesome.
match, really.
Yeah, it was really good. Really, really good. Liked it a lot.
Good. Well, let's continue to be positive and let's go on to best of the rest. So maybe we can each talk about something else, another match, another moment that we liked. John, anything you want to talk about?
So I'm going to mention Riho versus Emi Sakakura.
Freddie
AEW
Mercury.
Women's Championship.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, yeah.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Every time I see a Rio match, every time I see her come out, I'm like, oh, God, man, I really don't like Rio. I don't like her entrance music. I bloody hate her ring gear. But somehow during the match, by the end of it, I'm always rooting for her. She's such a good baby face. Like, she pulls me in every time, and I sort of like believe in her. I want her to win.
It's part of that because she has a literal baby face.
Yeah, potentially. And she like ragdolls like no one else.
Yeah.
But some of the offense in this from both of them was really hard hitting. I thought it was good. And I thought like Sakura, like she was obviously quite teary before the start of the match.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, no, it obviously meant quite a lot to Emi Sakura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think kind of, I don't know how far along she is in her career because I'd never really heard of her before AEW, but perhaps this was kind of like a end of an era thing for her.
Because I do think the women's division in AEW is not as strong as sort of the tag and the sort of men's. But they have done a great job of like selling the competitors they do have, like Rio, like most people have never heard of her before, and Sakura. Like they've really sold them as like legitimate competitors and told their story really well.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. I really like the finish of this match with the Hurricane Rana into the matchbox pin. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, cool. It was just really, really good match.
There were a lot of stomps in this match.
Yeah.
It was just stomp after stomp after stomp.
There was one bit where she stomped on Rio, but it got just her arm.
Yeah.
And that looked so nasty. And then she
We've all
followed
had
up
that
with like
kind
a
of thing.
senton cannibal.
The pinch. That would have been awful. The pinch of the foot and the arm and the floor. Oh, God. Nasty. Yeah, I didn't mind that match. I mean, across the whole board, I didn't really mind any matches. I think they were all good to very good. If I had to pick out a match, I'm going to go next. Why the hell not? I'm going to pick out the first match, Young Bucks versus Santana and Ortiz, because
yes.
And I'm choosing to talk positively about a Young Bucks match.
Holy.
But this wasn't a spot fest though, was it? It was like a story match.
Yeah.
I've tried to sort of turn a corner and sort of analyse it a bit more and watch everything that they do and not just see them do some flips and go, oh, for fuck's sake, they're doing it again, but actually be like, what else do they bring to the table? And I think this was a great example of, Nick selling his leg. What a master seller he is and was, and continued to be throughout the pay-per-view as well when he had later appearances. And the main thing for me was just Proud and Powerful, aka Santana and Ortiz, or LAX, or aka Adam's draft pick.
There we go. That's why
their offense is just so unique, and they're selling. They're brilliant sellers. I mean, Ortiz, when he did that thing where he got hit in the face,
that was so good.
Yeah.
They were great.
I became an Ortiz fan during this match because he just looks like he has a lot of fun.
He's so funny
in there, and he like his expressions and stuff. I was just like, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah,
is Ortiz the rope muncher?
The rope muncher,
chewing gum chewer.
That sounds like a slur, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
They're both great.
Yeah, he managed to do a tope whilst his dungarees were falling down, which was very impressive.
Incredible. Do you enjoy this match, Sam?
Yeah, absolutely. I think kind of, as you said, like it was a really good story-driven match. I think kind of the Young Bucks have done a really good job sort of putting over lots of other tag teams which perhaps aren't as famous or popular as they are.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the Boston Crab gory special combo.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
Just really cool. And the chewing gum spot as well was very entertaining.
Yeah.
That's always going to gross people out.
Oh, it's so cool though. It's just proper yuck. Love it.
What about the Rock and Roll Express? The Rock and Rollers rock and rolling back the years.
Oh, this was my favourite moment of the
down.
entire pay-per-view. Fucking Ricky Morton knocking out a Canadian destroyer and then following it up.
I couldn't believe
a great tope.
No, amazing. Surely that would just like put like a hip would just be out of joint now.
Considering what happened to him on Dynamite as well.
Yeah,
I know.
I think with the destroyer, I think Santana did a lot of the work
He definitely did a lot of the work.
But that tope is better than any I've seen Seth Rollins knock out. Like, it was brilliant. It was perfect.
No, that is a legit statement. I will back you up on that.
The tope
popped
El
so hard for that. It was brilliant.
How do we feel about the tag team named Proud and Powerful? PNP?
Oh, shocking.
That's bad, right?
I like the
really
I like
bad.
their entrance music. I like the fact that Santana sort of raps along with it, and that has Proud and Powerful in it. But it's not good, is it?
No,
It's not.
It's like Fire and Desire on WWE, isn't it?
Well, that's nice because at least it's sort of a play on each of their characters.
Is it?
Yeah, is it?
Well, one of them. What's her name's like catchphrase is straight something to do with fire, isn't it? Always bring the fire, straight fire, or is that something else?
Straight Fire's Becky Lynch, isn't it?
Okay, let's go back to this.
This was a great match, though. This was definitely one of the best matches on the card.
Yeah,
It's
really good
phenomenal.
match.
Yeah, good. I'm pleased. Brett, have you got a standout moment or match you want to talk about?
I mean, yes, and I'm going to pick one, but I could probably pick either of two of the other matches that we haven't mentioned.
Okay.
But I love Hangman Adam Page.
Oh, really?
And I really enjoyed him versus Pac. Yeah, I just love his moveset. The buckshot lariat is like amazing. And Pac is he's a machine.
He is,
so
isn't he?
good.
His kicking game is phenomenal.
Yeah, like he's so precise every time with his all his flying stuff and everything. But yeah, I love these two, and I really love this being like a straight match.
Yeah.
Huge win for Page as well, wasn't
Yeah.
it? 'Cause
Yeah,
he really needed that.
It was. What do you think about the Page winning with a dead eye? It's not really the move to do on a really short person, is it? Because Pac was basically just hanging down his back. His head was nowhere near the apron at all, I thought.
To be fair, like I think kind of after the buckshot lariat, that's where it was like, oh, he's going to win this kind of, you know. Man, I love the brutalizer. What a move, especially when you land it on someone when they're standing.
100%.
Yeah.
It was the one part of the whole pay-per-view where JR actually said something right when he was like, this is grappling magic.
Yeah.
He pronounced the words correctly, got them in the right order.
I loved how Page broke it up as well. He kind of just fell into the ropes.
Yeah.
That's all he could do. He couldn't crawl. He just sort of fell over into them.
Yeah.
I think this was just a really good heel versus face match and just everything done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was solid and I really enjoyed it.
One thing I would say, and this sort of calls back to Brett, you saying how you love the video packages before Cody, before the Cody match. We had 4 matches? Let's have a look. No, 5 matches before we got a video package. And I think that's one thing that AEW, WWE overdo it. But if you're coming into this fresh, let's say you haven't watched the weekly show, you might still have an idea of who everyone is, but you're kind of in danger of some of these matches becoming just exhibition matches unless you know why they're happening. And there weren't any promos or any video packages before the first 5 matches. That's pretty mad, right?
Wow.
I mean, they only had video stuff for the last 2 matches.
No, they had stuff for the first match.
Yeah,
they definitely had Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful.
Oh, did they?
Build up, yeah.
So it was between then. Okay, all right. So they sort of 4 matches then.
I swear they had one for Spears and Janela as well.
Don't they?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
they
they did.
Yeah, maybe
Don't think they did. But I think that's something that AEW if they decide they're going to do video stuff, they do it brilliantly. But they've only sort of done it for the big matches, and they don't have to do it for everyone. But like a little roundup, or if they're not going to do it, then you need comms to explain the history or the past.
Yeah, because like this, especially like this match between, I mean, JR did do that a bit, didn't he, with Page and Pac saying this is the rubber match, and the first being like all the way back in January or something, didn't they say?
Okay, so there were videos and he did do callbacks. Maybe I wasn't listening or watching. I can't remember. But no, there could be more.
Yeah, which I thought, again, why it was a huge win for Adam Page, and I mean, perhaps this could have done with more hype because of that. And these 2 guys, especially Pac, like in front of camera, giving him some promo time would be great.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a Pac Jericho match.
Yeah,
I love Pac so much.
Yeah,
he's so he's a complete brute, isn't he? Everything he does is so stiff, but then he sells so wonderfully. Obviously, we saw that firsthand in that Cara Noir match at Riptide. But oh my god, he sells well.
His character work is really good as well. I love the bastard and the whole look. It's just like he has become the full package.
Yes. Okay. Sam, I mean, there's only one match left, and it's probably the weakest one, right?
Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about the match, to be honest. The old, what's his name, Joe Janela versus Sean Spears. That's it was a bit of a nothing match for me, that one.
Oh, really? Yeah. I really enjoyed this match as well.
Yeah. I don't like Sean Spears.
I want to like Sean Spears. I'm not there yet.
He's just there because he's ex-WWE.
I didn't like him in WWE either.
No,
even NXT, I didn't like him.
I listened to I think it was on the Colt Cabana thing when Cody Rhodes was on his podcast, and he had a lot of good things to say about Sean Spears. I thought
I love the gimmick at the moment, and I love the gimmick of the Perfect 10 as well. I think both of them were really good. I'm just I think I'm at that Matt Hardy stage where I'm loving everything except the wrestling.
I really enjoyed this match though. I thought it was good.
I mean,
I thought he was definitely the more straight person to the wild Joey Janela, who just doesn't seem to care for his body.
Oh my god, no! That bump he took on the bloody apron. Good lord.
Yeah, it was a fun match. It was a fun match.
Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the match. It was a good match. I just don't like Sean.
I think you could put anybody in that role that Sean played, and he doesn't bring anything that exciting. I don't think he's an amazing wrestler, but I think it was fun. And obviously Tully Blanchard doing the spike DDT.
Yeah, that was
edge
on it.
not DDT, the spike pile driver.
Pile
That's
driver.
the one. Apart from that, obviously the hair getting tied up. That was quite fun. Seeing
that was really cool.
hair
That
hanging
was really
down.
cool. That was really innovative. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. But yeah, that was my weakest match of the night, but I'd still say it was like a 3-star match or something. It was good.
Yeah.
And overall, it was all pretty good. So that's why we haven't done Worst of the Rest, unless there's anything apart from the wrestling matches we want to touch upon being bad, apart from JR.
Let's talk about JR.
Okay. We kind of did him at the start, Sam.
Okay.
But by all means, go on a little diatribe on why he's so awful.
It's fine. Anything that has to be said about him has probably been said, and quite honestly, you know what? He's living his own life here, isn't he? He's just doing it because he loves the business, so fair play.
Does he love the business? We don't think he loves the modern business.
Well, yeah, but like, I kind of, because, you know, he lost his wife and stuff, and he's just looking for something to fill the time.
Now we can't say anything negative about him ever again.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
It was missing Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Schiavone
Definitely.
is how I pronounce it.
Schiavone.
Okay, so again, I pronounced his name horribly earlier on. It's just a callback, Sam. You know, if you were here,
Right, wow.
Yeah, it's a bit cruel.
it is. It is. Star performer. We're each going to pick our star performer for the night. The person who we think is the VIP from the pay-per-view. John, who's yours?
Ricky Morton, man. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
How old is he? Let me look out.
You look that up.
63 years old.
He does not look 63. He looks 83.
You look that up so quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. He looks much older than my dad, who is basically 10 years older than him.
Yeah, he does. Time has not been kind to him.
Yeah. Sam, who's yours?
I'm going for John Moxley. Just a solid performance.
Nice. Brett?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. John Moxley showing that he's, he is pure headline talent.
Okay. I will go for... I think I'm going to give it to Cody. Because he did take that
came
bump.
close to Cody.
He took that bump, whether he meant it or not. It was a nasty one, but he still continued the whole match, the whole angle at the end. I loved all the close-ups of him with the blood on his face. I think the camera work generally is really good on AEW. The stuff they have with the camera up on the turnbuckle and the close-ups they get whenever anybody's in the corner of the ring, they're shoving a camera right in their face. Focusing in on the ice pick and the hair. In fact, the cameramen, they're my VIPs.
Yeah.
Can I make a prediction?
What?
I think Moxley's going to be the one to take the title from Jericho.
Yeah, could be.
Could be.
I can see it happening.
Could be indeed.
It would make sense. Big name.
Yeah. I mean, we could have a whole big chat about the potential future of various things. There's just quite a lot of exciting things that could happen from here on in. One of the major...
We're about to do now.
We're not going to do it, but one of the major things, they need to sort out their presentation of Kenny Omega, just generally, I think. He's such a fucking massive star, and he's been used quite weirdly, I think.
I think they've done a really good job with him, actually, because the thing is that realistically, going into AEW, your big star is Kenny Omega. He's much bigger than anyone else. He's the best wrestler in the world. But if you kind of elevate him to that one spot above everyone else, you're not going to build the rest of the roster. It's basically giving him this slump has been a really good idea to kind of help build the rest of the roster around him.
They're doing the exact same thing with the Young Bucks as well, aren't they? I mean, it's working. It's very much working.
Anyway, we shouldn't get into it because we're already... Yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to hear my thoughts, then drop me a DM. I'm not going to get any DMs. Okay, so last thing that we do is give a score out of 10 for the pay-per-view and then work out the average, see how it compares to pay-per-views of old. Brett, do you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'm going 9.
Oh, that's
going high.
Strong.
Wow,
Yeah.
That is strong.
There's a lot to love in this.
Okay.
A lot to love.
Good. John?
I also really loved this, but I'm going 8.5. I'll go 8.5.
Wow. Sam?
No, Adam, you go first.
Yeah, it's weird. Just as a whole package, it wasn't quite up there for me. I think it was too long, 3 hours 40 fucking minutes.
It was long.
I think they could have lost the Janela match. They could have shortened a couple of the other matches and had a couple more video packages, and it would have scored highly. So I'm going to give it a 7.75. Sam.
Well, yeah, I had it in my head I was going to give this a 7.8. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a 7.8. I'm going granular now with my scores.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
And that gives us an overall of 8.2625. 8.2625.
625. Well, that is a very good score. So that comes very close to AEW All Out, which had an 8.16. And what else? Money in the Bank 2018 had an 8.18. So yeah, it's safely in the top third of the pay-per-views we've talked about. So they're doing a good job over
Yeah,
AEW.
I think that's their best one since like the first few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. AEW Double or Nothing got an 8.72. That's the highest one we've had there. So yeah, good stuff. AEW, you get the hardest part of the ring seal of approval, which I'm sure means a huge amount. We're going to have a short break now, and then we're going to hear from a couple of listeners.
Ricochet. Oh! Axe Black's on the apron. Hardest part of the ring.
John, did anybody get in touch, and what did they think?
Yes, so Will Odinson's been in touch. He says, I really like the stage design. Have a lot of love for long ramp and it being at ring level 2.
I do like that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like
I
that a lot.
disagree.
Cody's forehead doesn't like that.
Yep, no.
I don't like it either.
Jericho's lion tamer with stomps to the head was gnarly as fuck, and I loved it. Omega versus Mox was just nuts. Lovable nuts. That was my nickname at secondary school.
Lovable nuts. Okay.
You're not
thanks.
lovable.
Thanks, Will. Anyone else? His nuts are, though. You can't deny that.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. Loserweight's also been in touch. He says, best matches, Jericho versus Cody. The beating Cody took was convincing enough to warrant the finish. The lion tamer and Jericho stomp on his head especially. Big fan of the finish as it gets Cody out of the title scene and into a big old emo road story.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. That he's no longer in that title scene. That's pretty crazy.
That's, pretty mad.
Yeah.
I suppose he could always turn heel and go, actually, I am.
He's so over as a
wrestling.
face, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's quite nice to know that. Obviously, he's
think-
going to have this feud with MJF now for a long, long time. So
I mean, wrestling is always quite a kind of liquid thing. Like one day he's not doing this ever again, next day he is. But like I think kind of a good break from the title picture reflects well on someone who probably runs the company.
It's
Yeah.
really impressive that none of them are in the title picture.
I think that's by design though.
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, I guess it would be unrealistic to have none of them at any point. So it's actually kind of cool the way they've done it. Cody's had his shot, didn't
Yeah,
get there,
for sure.
but still is very, very strong and comes out looking great. Anything else from Loserweight?
Yes, sorry, there's a couple more bits. So he also says Moxley versus Omega, everything it needed to be, and could go down as Moxley's signature match. Amazingly nuts, and it was cool that they got a bit of story in with Kenny going for an Ibushi move and it costing him. Underwhelming moments. Not really into Adam Page. He's obviously great in the ring, but he's pretty humorless babyface. Harsh.
Don't shift Brett. Somebody hold back Brett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he loves Baron Corbin.
Finally, that's it. This was a really, really, really good show and the best AEW pay-per-view since Double or Nothing.
And our scores would agree with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
Loserweight. We agree. Cool. Good stuff. Okay. Usually we would have Five Forever coming up next, but Sam, too busy working, hey?
Yeah, I mean, we can't chant in unison anyway, can we? So
It's good. We'll have a week off.
We need to sort that out. I can't believe listeners listen to it. I imagine they just turn it off. It must be
Yeah.
unbearable.
it must be so bad. But the content is great.
Great content.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'd be terrible if like some of our best content, people are just switching off just before it because we're being dicks.
I really can't help it.
I think that's so hardest part of the ring. Yeah.
I really can't help it. I just am a
I've
dick.
tried.
Yeah.
So true, Sam. So true.
Okay. Well, what we will do Actually, no, we don't need to have another break. I was going to have another break, but so lazy, just breaks all over the shop. So let's just wrap this whole podcast up. Next week, we will be back. We're not 100% sure what we're going to do, but we're thinking we might do a little bit of a roundup, maybe a bit of a preview of TakeOver and Survivor Series, because there's a lot to talk about there. And
let's do that. That sounds good.
Give us a
Perhaps
chance to talk
we could
about NXT.
analyse the early days of the Wednesday Night War.
Oh, yeah, we could. The only thing is that when we do our roundup episodes, they tend, just to let people behind the curtain a little bit, they don't do quite as well as all the other episodes. And is that just because we're giving it a shit name, like a wrestling roundup?
Yeah, I mean, next week we can just do TakeOver versus AEW, well, NXT versus AEW, and then Survivor Series preview. Let's do both.
Or, let's just lie, let's just say that we put someone through a table.
Yeah, like call it something else. Like
Adam will lose his fingers in a mousetrap.
Sam Andrews' memorial episode, R.I.P.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
You're going to feel
me.
awful when I'm dead next week.
I am, but oh my God, the listeners will go through the roof. I really, really hope that doesn't happen.
What was with the air quotes there?
Yeah, if we got
How did you know?
2 trillion downloads, would it be worth it though?
2
yes.
trillion. Yeah,
2
probably.
trillion.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, tune in next week to find out whether or not Sam dies. But in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, then... Oh, Brett, did you hear last week Sam's attempt to freestyle rap?
I didn't. Go for it again, though. I want to
What?
hear it.
No, it's your time. You've had a whole extra week to prepare.
Prepare what?
What's coming up next? This. Go, Brett.
Yeah. They can send their emails
Here we go.
to hardestpartofthering@gmail.com. Get us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. We are at hardestpartpod. And check out our shop, which is hardestpartofthering.bigcartel.com.
Lovely.
Classic.
Original and best. Yeah, classic. Brett. In terms of getting in, people getting in touch, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Josh Loosely, who might be listening to this on his way to college, because he says that is what he does when I was talking to him on Twitter, because he got in touch just to say that he's been enjoying the pod and he loves Brett's work. And I just thought it was really nice to hear from listeners that we haven't heard from before. So, yeah, if you do want to get in touch and send us some praise or some criticism or some other feedback or some ideas for episodes or anything like that, then...
A eulogy, maybe?
Yeah, your eulogy for Sam. Then, yeah, use that info that Brett has just given us. But until next week, thank you for listening. It's goodbye from me, Adam. Goodbye from Sam. What a run-in.
See you later, dude.
It's goodbye to you, John.
Goodbye.
And goodbye, Brett.
Bye.
That was the hardest part of the ring.